The fourth poem is A Thing of Beauty, written by John Keats. Keats is a British romantic poet. Sorry, was a British romantic poet. Why he said romantic? Because in his writings he had shown the love for life and he had described it in a very beautiful way. This poem is an excerpt from his poem Endymion, a poetic romance. What is an excerpt? You must note the spelling of excerpt. Excerpt is EXCERPT because you may have to use it in your language or maybe answering the exam. So, what is an excerpt? Excerpt is generally a part of something bigger. So, this is an excerpt of a poem. That means this is part of a bigger poem. We have taken a part and put it into our course. Okay, it's just not except can is a part of anything, so it can be a story, part of a story or something like that. It's not fixed that it would be a part of a poem only. Okay, so it is about a shepherd, Endymion, who had a vision of Cynthia. Cynthia is a moon goddess, and he starts admiring her. He starts looking for her. So, this poem is actually dedicated to her and is created on his way. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. The poet says that a thing of beauty, something which is beautiful, is a joy forever. So, there is a difference. There are two words we have. One is joy, another is happiness. There is a difference. Joy is inner happiness, inner pleasantfulness, like you feel good inside. Happiness is attached to some particular things, like you get something that is materialistic. So if you get something that makes you happy, that is happiness. Okay, so he says, think of beauty as a joy forever. That means that is internal happiness that remains forever, that is not attached to particular things. Its loveliness increases. He says, whenever you see something beautiful, what happens? When you think about it in your mind, it seems to be more beautiful than what it was when you saw it for the first time. So the thing is, its loveliness increases because in your memories, it is more beautiful than what it was actually. So he says, its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. He says, there would be never a time when the beauty of that particular thing decreases. In your memories, it is always alive. But will keep a boar quiet for us. He says that memories, the thing of beauty in our memories, what it does, it keeps a boar. What is a boar? Boar is the shade of the trees. So it keeps a shade for us forever. Quiet for us that we can anytime go into our memories, think about it, and feel so good about it. And a sleep full of sweet dreams. So he says, and because of that peace, because of that beauty, we feel so good and we have a sleep which is full of sweet dreams and health, and consequently we have a health which is really sound, and the breathing is actually very quiet and quiet breathing. So in other way, poet is actually describing the thing of beauties, that a sleep is also a thing of beauty. A sleep full of sweet dreams is a thing of beauty in itself. Good health is a thing of beauty in itself. Quiet breathing, if you see a child sleeping and he's breathing very quietly, you feel so beautiful. You never forget it. So it is just like that. The quiet breathing is also in itself what it is a thing of beauty. Therefore, on every morrow are we rethink a flowery band to bind us to earth. Okay. Morrow means tomorrow. we can say a near future or tomorrow. It's another word for tomorrow. Are we rethink? Rethink means you surround yourself with something. Okay, therefore on every morrow, so he says that is the reason that on every other day are we rethink. We are surrounded by what? A flowery band. Means these thing of beauty is actually a flowery band to bind us to the earth. That they keep us bind to this planet, because if they are not there, we would find no reason to survive. We would find no motivation to move ahead in our lives. Spite of despondence of inhuman dearth, spite of means in spite of. Despondence means unhappiness, sadness. Of inhuman dearth, dearth of noble natures. He says, in spite of unhappiness, that this planet has a lot of unhappiness, of inhuman dearth, it has people who are cruel. Dearth means lack of something. Dearth of noble natures, we have lack of brave, honest, moral people. Of gloomy days, gloomy means sad, sad or maybe without hope. Of gloomy days, that we face sad days, we have days in which we have no hope for life. Of all the unhealthy and overdarkened ways, he says, sometimes we feel very unhealthy, or we are facing a disease or something like that. And overdarkened ways, that means our life on this planet has so many problems made for our searching, that these ways are darkened, the problems are there, that so that we find the actual reason of that problems. Yes, that's true, that the problems are there for our searching. He says yes, in spite of all. Then he says yes, in spite of all. That in spite of these all the problems that we face on this planet, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. Pall is a thick, very thick cloud. He says that some shape of beauty moves. That if we see something beautiful, what it does is it moves away the pall. It moves away every suffering. It moves away all the pain. It just moves away that dark cloud that was over us or over our heart. From our dark spirits, it moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. 4 simple sheep, and such are daffodils. Okay. Such the sun. So he gives example of the things of beauty, like sun, moon. You feel beautiful. We have so many stories or poems, especially based on maybe sun or moon, right? So why? Because that is a most beautiful thing that we see around us. The sun, the moon, trees old, if the trees are old, so we are glad, oh my god, this is such an old tree. Young trees, so we feel glad about that too. Sprouting a shady boon, what they all do is, what these all beauties do is, they sprout. That means they produce a shady boon. Boon means blessing. So they give us a blessing. 4 simple sheep. Simple sheep here refers to innocent people. And such are daffodils. Then he compares innocent people to daffodils. What are daffodils? Daffodils are yellow, bell-shaped flowers, mostly found in North America. Generally, like North America, like here in Canada. So these are like, these could be found everywhere outside. Not now, this is winter, but yeah, in the spring and summers. With the green world they live in. Now he says that such are daffodils. So he gives an example that what are daffodils? Daffodils are a very delicate flowers. With the green world they live in. They live in a forest, in a very bushy area. So here we have so many bushes around, and they are surrounded by bushes and still what they have kept themselves, and their nature is very different from those around surrounding them. And clear rills. Then he talks about the clear rills, the small streams that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. Now he says the rills, the streams are for themselves a cooling cover. They cover a land and then they cool it down. The streams for themselves are a cooling cover. They protect themselves, make against the hot season. The mid-forest break. Mid-forest break means break is suddenly when you stop being somewhere. So what happens is the forest is going on, very dense, very dense, very dense. Then at some point, the density actually decreases to an extent, and suddenly there is space. And what we see is rich. The mid forest break rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. So that is mid forest break is rich with what? Rich with sprinkling. Sprinkling means that you can see somewhere, not everywhere, full of musk rose. It is somewhere there are musk roses. What is musk rose? Musk rose is a kind of rose that's a wild variety of rose generally found in the forest. So he says the mid-forest break rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, that in such a dense forest, when you move ahead and you reach the center of the forest, and then you find musk rose, white roses somewhere, and you find it, that's just so beautiful. And such too, and then he talks about, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Dooms is death. Grandeur means greatness, the quality of being very large and special. So he says, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Then he says, in a very same way, the grandeur means greatness of death is also very great. So what we are talking about here, how can death be great? So here he is talking about martyrs, soldiers, that they died for a cause to save someone. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Mighty dead here means martyrs. So this is like, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. We have imagined for the mighty dead, that for mighty dead we feel so proud of them. We celebrate, we provide them Paramveer Chakra and everything. For what? Because we call them Shaheed, we respect them. That is a thing of beauty, because that motivates us a lot to devote for our nation. All lovely tales that we have heard or read. Then he says, every single tale that has made us feel beautiful, that has provided us morals, every such tales that we have heard or read anywhere in any form is actually a thing of beauty. Then he says, an endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal means something that's gonna last for a really long time, forever. That's why we say immortal. An endless fountain, that this fountain of things of beauty is actually immortal. It's not never gonna end, pouring onto us from the heaven's brink. See, if we see the literal meaning of the brink, then it is actually an edge, and then from the edge something falls down. So he is saying that from the heaven's brink, from the heaven's edge, these things of beauty are regularly, constantly pouring unto us from the heaven. These are the blessings of God for us to stay on this planet. Okay, so this is all about the poem, and now question answers. List the things of beauty mentioned in the poem. Yes, of course, you can do that. List the things that cause suffering and pain. What? It's about unhappiness, cruelty, noble lack of noble natures, sad days, problems, anything. What is the line? Therefore, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to earth? Suggest to you. I just told you, right? Wreathing means covering. We are covered by a flowery band. That means the things of beauty are actually motivates us to survive on this planet, to move ahead, to live happily, to make a really good living on this planet. What makes human beings love life in spite of troubles and suffering? Things of beauty. Why is grandeur associated with the mighty dead? Because the death of martyrs is actually very great. That motivates us. How do we experience things of beauty only for short moments, or do they make lasting impression on us? Then the answer is they make lasting impression on us. We have to choose one out of two, so we are gonna choose one out of here. It cannot be yes or no, right? Or maybe you can say no, they make a lasting impression on us. That's okay. What image does the poet use to describe the beautiful bounty of the earth? So here you need to know what is the bounty. That's the question. Bounty means something which is in very large amount. Okay, so here, question is, what image does the poet use to describe the beautiful bounty of the earth? That the beauty is plenty on earth, it's never gonna end. How does poet describe this? Poet says that it is falling regularly from the heaven's spring. That's how he describes that this is bounty, this is in plenty, this is never gonna end, right? Okay then, thanks.